Come, let us understand spirit guides with greater depth. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night only to discover that you're being turned around drunkenly as if you're in a washing machine. You're twisting around. And as you do so, you realize that you're tangled up on the ceiling fan. And that as you look down, you can see a body curled up in the bed. And that body is yours. Or think of yourself just walking down a road on the way to work. And you hear someone call out to you. But there's nobody talking to you. And it's only then that as you follow the coarseness, the harshness of the voice, you realize that you can hear a crow sitting on a tree. It's exhilarating. It's mind-blowing. But it's also disorienting and terrifying. 35 years ago, there was a time when, after a set of huge spiritual experiences, the boundaries of my being had opened up and innumerable visions and experiences were flooding in. One night, when the visions and experiences became particularly strange and laced with a sinister element, I'd woken up only to find myself in a very jagged place with all sorts of weird protuberances piercing through my body. And as I looked down, I saw that the floor was covered with weird patterns, ugly faces, but with a supernatural clarity. And as I was struggling there, impaled and transfixed, I saw a figure emerge into the room, dressed in a brown shepherd's cloak with a staff. He held out a hand and touched me. He was ever so real, but the touch was like touching water, touching the wind. When he came into my room, everything became more manageable. The experiences kept multiplying, but the knowledge that there was a figure in my vicinity who could help made the weirdest experiences welcome and blessed. You are in conversation with Tarun and Celia Cherian, co-founders, Creator's Child, and Devadara Healing. The first great learning of spirit guides comes from ancient times. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures, he leadeth me beside still waters. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now the first great learning is that there are indeed beings that can actually calm us when we're troubled. Or sometimes they may even guide us when lost. So, for example, a student of ours and a great friend, Angel, once talked about how a guiding spirit helped her find the right road when she was disoriented. But it can be even more intense. Celia once experienced this with tremendous power. She was going towards danger when she felt two hands lift her up and slam her to the ground. Actually, physically lift her up and slam her to the ground. Now, a little reading will reveal that the Good Shepherd, that the figure of the Good Shepherd, is strongly and deeply associated with the Old Testament, which is the bedrock of three great religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This experience happened in the early 1990s. And today, 35 years later, the Good Shepherd is still very much a part of my life. Today, he no longer arrives into the chambers of my mind wearing a shepherd's outfit. Very often, he's like a blazing sun with a lightning shaft in it. The former spirit guide may present itself as is often based on what we find familiar, what we find good and true. We now turn to a common set of spirit guide problems. Now, 70% of the time when people think they're talking to spirits or guides, they're neither talking to spirits nor are they talking to guides. They're essentially talking to themselves and only listening to what they would like to hear, what the ego would like to tell us. When we talked to our spirit guide, he gave us a very interesting insight. Before I introduced myself to Tarun, I observed him for years, silently nudging him, testing his ability to listen, his desire to be a force of good. Many of you ask us to appear when in trouble, expecting a high spirit to appear just like that. Usually, you listen to yourself. Sometimes you attract a range of lesser spirits, some misguided, some ugly, and some even good. But as those spirits appear to you, you also get our attention. But even then, we wait, we observe, we test, we see where you fit into the broad sweep of our intent. Only then do we engage. Now, most of us think of spirit guides as resources, as beings that can support, that can help us in life. And while they do guide and do support and do strengthen us, their principal role is to awaken, to go from earth ready and earth strong to light ready and light strong. So, in one case, our spirit guide gave someone an accident so they could take life more seriously. The Good Shepherd says, "The world we inhabit is brilliant beyond belief. You too are there, only you do not know you are there. For you to exist there, you have to ignite yourself, to be alive, to be aware, to be caring, to be sure, to be superlative." Now you will ask, Tarun and Celia, is there some way that I can for myself see my spirit guide with great clarity and depth? And yes, we do have a gift for you. It's in our book, Miraculous Mudras. There is a mudra called the Akar Mudra. In this, you clasp your two hands together and look ahead. It focuses your third eye. You focus, closing your head, and say, "I see, I know, I connect with a guide who will help, who will support, who will connect me to my deepest being, my truest existence." Say this again and again. Do this day after day. And in a short while of just months, you're sure to have an encounter with the guiding spirit. Thank you for subscribing to our channel, visiting creatorschild.com, and growing with God.